In this video, I'll show you how to get and fully unrestrict the Noiseform Rod in Fisch. Fast, easy, and with no fluff. This is the best guide you'll find. So leave a like and save this video so you can come back anytime and keep following each step with me. First, you need to head to the Shady Bazaar and light up the candles during a cursed storm. You can buy Cursed Storm Totems from the rare goods dealer whenever they're in stock, or try spawning the event with Aurora Totems, which have a 20% chance of triggering it. Thankfully, the candles glow, so they're pretty easy to find. You can also pause the video if you want to follow along with me. I always try not to cut too much out to make everything easier to understand, but if you still have any questions, just leave them in the comments and either I or another player will help you as soon as possible. If you still don't have the new currency, it's worth exchanging some of your credits for it, since you'll need at least 2 cursed totems to get the Noiseform Rod. You can exchange it at the script vendor, located right in front of the rare goods dealer. Just be careful not to spend too much money. I accidentally added one too many zeros when buying shady scripts and ended up losing all my money, so I had to grind everything back from scratch, and it took me hours to get everything back. The last candle is hidden in the corner behind the leaves. After activating all of them, you can talk to the mysterious shadow, and he'll give you a list of tasks to complete. Where it says to catch and return a sinking terror, that means you need to catch either a sunken megalodon or a sunken ancient megalodon. It's easier than it sounds. You can use the dead man's rod, or if you're using the sunken rod, make sure to enchant it with something that gives you at least 50,000 kilograms, or you won't be able to hook the megalodon. The sunken mutation will show these green symbols around the fish if you have all visual effects enabled. If it doesn't have the right mutation, just let it escape and try again. Next, you need to catch a kraken or ancient kraken with the blossomed mutation. You have a 40% chance of getting it with the verdant oath, but make sure not to get a perfect catch. The kraken's favorite bait is shark head, but I used coral bait for the extra resilience. Once you're done, talk to the mysterious shadow again. Your next task is to go to Hades' underworld and catch a Styx angler with the soul-touched mutation. For that, you'll need the Hades Soul Scythe. If you still don't have it, make sure to buy it before continuing. To spawn the hunt, offer the wisps you collected at the gravestones until a soul pool appears. Then talk to the ferryman and pay a few wisps to get soul vision so you can see where to fish. After that, fish dark wisps from the soul pool until a soul scourge starts. You'll see a message pop up and you'll notice blue glowing dots floating around. When this happens, keep fishing more dark wisps until you trigger a Styx angler hunt. The best strategy to farm wisps and dark wisps quickly is using the Toxin Burst Rod with Scavenger. Once the Styx angler spawned, I used the Hades Soul Scythe with Gobstopper bait to boost resilience and kept fishing until I got one with the right mutation. From there, I went to Calm Zone, where I needed to catch a jackpot shimmering silverside. This is one of the easiest noiseform tasks. If you need help getting the random rod, check out my full guide in the description. In the third quest, the mysterious shadow asks you to catch a Requiem Scylla. I recommend using hunt totems, potions, and good enchants on your Requiem. It's pretty hard to identify the mutation just by the texture now, so keep catching Scyllas until you get a Requiem one. This part usually isn't too difficult, so you'll probably finish it pretty quickly. Next, we'll need the Duskwire. If you still don't have it, just get a catfish in Mushgrove Swamp, give it to Hollow at the underground music venue, and pay 1.7 million credits in exchange for the rod. Then, use Twisted Relics to enchant it with Wobbly and go farm some shells. Shells are great because they can give powerful buffs that help a lot when catching difficult fish or completing quests. Here's the best route to farm a lot of them quickly and easily. First, set your spawn at Ancient Isle, then head down near the shipwright and circle around the lower part of the island. I'll use these shells to catch a Leviathan with the Duskwire and Wobbly enchant. Since this is one of the hardest quests for unlocking the Noiseform Rod, the Endurance, Depth, and Wrath shells will help a lot. The Endurance shell gives extra control and resilience, making difficult catches much easier. The Depth shell increases fish size, gives you infinite max kg, and adds extra line distance, making it a great replacement for the Invincible enchant. The only downside is that their duration isn't unlimited. Once you finish circling Ancient Isle, use the magic mirror to go to Moosewood. You can find more shells near the cowboy and along the sides of the island. They're super easy to spot, so you can get 10 or more pretty quickly. Another shell can spawn near this GPS too, so make sure to check carefully. The next spot is around the captain. You can find up to 3 here. You'll also usually find more shells in older servers, since once they appear, they only disappear after someone picks them up. Once you finish the route, just block someone and rejoin. This helps prevent you from ending up in the same server, so you can repeat the whole process as many times as you want. The final step now is to bring the shells to the mermaid to enchant them. The entrance is at Grand Reef, and you can find it by diving in front of the pirate ship. At the end of the cave, you'll find Kalira. Talk to her, and she'll let you use the altar to place the shells. Alright, now we can finally catch the Leviathan. Remember to use the Duskwire with the Wobbly Enchant, along with the Endurance and Depth Shells. I wouldn't recommend the Tranquility Rod unless you're extremely good with it. I used the Eidolon Rod to force a hunt, then managed to catch it pretty easily using everything I mentioned, along with the Silly Seal. By the way, this pet will still be very useful later on, so level yours up in the meantime if needed. And finally, we got the Noiseform Rod. You'll notice it's marked as restricted, so it's not very useful yet. But if you made it this far, congratulations. You're already ahead of about 80% of players who give up at the very beginning of this quest. On the way to Abyssal Zenith, sneak past the first anglerfish, then follow the second one and enter the hole in the wall to get teleported to Hawaii, where we'll start the quests to unrestrict the Noiseform Rod. Use a Cursed Totem to spawn a pool and fish in it with the Noiseform Rod and magnet bait until you get a flowed compact disc. Then head to Hades' underworld of Indefinite. Find the grave marked 1913. Keep the disc in your hand and press and hold E until a portal opens. At the end of the obby, you'll find the Awakened Witch, who will give you the next quests. The first quest is Gather the Broken Calls, which means you need to catch 3 glitched bloopfish. To do that, spawn its hunt. Catch all the baby bloopfish, and when the big one appears, feed your Silly Seal and use glitched potions to catch it. Now go to Abyssal Zenith and set your spawn point. The next quest asks you to obtain the Hidden Beacon, which means getting a shiny shrouded angler's lantern. Bring 2 krakens or 2 orcas, then dive down and feed one of the anglerfish. Keep the extra kraken in your hand while diving so you won't get attacked. Then head to Moosewood and appraise it until you get the shiny mutation. After that, go to Tidefall. Use a mutation totem and keep appraising until you get shrouded. I spent over 30 million credits before finally getting this. The glitch beneath the veil means you need to get a glitched translucent Scylla. So enchant a good rod with Ghastly and also use glitched potions. To complete Catch and Return the Living Devil, you need to spawn an Olympian Devil and catch it using the Bloom Spire with the Blooming Splendor variant. It sounds difficult, but it's much easier than you might think. So fish in each layer of Wrath of Olympus using that layer's rod until an Olympian Devil hunt starts. For example, in Bellona's layer, use Bellona's Warex. In Apollo's use, Apollo's Sunshot. In Poseidon's, use Poseidon's Lance. And keep going like that until you reach Hades' underworld. Make sure you already have every rod you need before starting, because if you have to server hop, you'll lose your progress. Luckily, if you already have the rods, it goes pretty fast. You only need to catch around 30 fish in each layer, and a message will appear when that area is done. To catch the Vitalic Olympian Devil, I used the Silly Seal, potions, the Blooming Splendor Bloom Spire, High Resilience Bait, and an Aurora Totem. Piercing, Overclocked, or Cryogenic are enchants that will help a lot with this challenge. Just survive the first few seconds and dodge the attacks. Once the slashes stack up, it becomes way easier. Wandering Calls and Dead Echoes means wisps and dark wisps, and you can farm plenty of them using the Toxin Burst Rod with Scavenger. Once you have all the materials, just talk to the Awakened Witch to get the corrupted disc, then bring it to the Mysterious Shadow so he can unrestrict your Noiseform Rod. The best enchants for the Noiseform Rod are Starforged Spirit and Sanctified. I used an Enchant Relic, a Cosmic Relic, an Exalted Relic, Song of the Deep, and a Sovereign Relic to get them. Check out my guide on how to get the Plague Reaver Rod fast in Fish, link in the description.